Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the video, and today we're going to be talking about the economic changes with 1.8 and onwards. So the devs decided to actually create a whole new thread for all the economic changes and kind of explain them further, and also what they plan on working on in the future. So pretty cool. I like to see these type of posts. This was linked with 1.8, and if you didn't miss my 1.8 video, or if you want up-to-date guides, news, and all that, two top links in the description will bring you to both of those, the review and more videos. But yeah, without further ado, let's check this out. Let's see what they have to say and go from there. So 1.8, we saw a bunch of changes. Here's the patch notes. It is a ton, and a big thing they did talk about is actually the economy, but they decided to not actually put all the changes to the economy. They just decided right here, as you can see, the extensive economy and trade changes are right over here, and this links brings us to this thread. So let's do it. All right, it's pretty long. Jesus. All right, let's do it. Well, it's not that long. All right, salutations, merchants of Calradia. We have been working on some changes regarding the economy of Calradia for some time. With the new patch, we can finally share those changes with you. So we wanted to take the opportunity to share the changes as well as the reasons, rationale, and limitations behind them. Okay. To properly explain where the changes came from, we need to start with the existing problems. First of all, economy in this sense is about trade goods, caravans, and workshops, so mostly trade. Equipment wages and loot values are a separate topic. Surely it is still related, but they are sequestered enough to be handled separately to a decent degree. So what are the primary issues we thought we should prioritize? All right, so these are the issues. First, overstocking of trade goods in towns. This is the mother of all problems. It causes are many, but it affects are more. Okay. With abundance of trade goods in town markets, price index drops to very low. It is not only about a single trade good being in stock in huge quantities, but also every trade good being available in pretty much every town in about 5 years. That is interesting. Yeah. I did think about this as well. Well, not too extensively, but if you really do think about it, back in the days, like I actually lived there, but I would feel like it doesn't make sense for every single town to have everything readily available. Like now it makes sense. You know what I mean? You go to the supermarket, you go to Walmart, almost everything's readily available. You know what I mean? Unless, there's some shortages that could be easily prevented, but, capitalism. But, okay, moving on. What do you call it? Yeah, it doesn't make sense for, like, the medieval times, you know what I'm saying? Just, like, the times that the game is set in, for every town to just have everything so readily available. And it would make sense if, certain things were region locked, and which they kind of are, but not really to a high extent. And I think it should be more to a high extent. Like certain things should just not be available in certain regions. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, okay. How can I explain it? What's the best way? Like olives, right? So the Vlandians, they have a lot of like places for like oil and stuff like that that's made out of olives and all that. I feel like that should be region locked to them. And for example, like the Sturgians, well, I guess they did have horses in the wintertime. It's kind of hard to explain, but I get what the dev is saying. Okay? It should be, certain items should be more potent in certain areas and less potent in other areas. That's the best way I can put it. All right, next issue, low profit margins. Low price index means profit margins are low as well. Yeah, that is a problem. Trading is very hard. Caravans and workshops have limited potential profits. There it is. Workshop variety has limited effect. That is true. There's only like two, well, every other patch except this one, there's only been like 2 workshops that really work. Brewery and whatever the top one is for that specific patch. Next, variety between town markets is not high, making the game world feel less interesting. True, there it is. Market homogeneity, limiting trade opportunities, limiting how much profit player can make as the game goes on. Okay. And next, with limited profits, trade skill XP gain is also curbed severely, making it harder in an attempt to increase trade skill. This is very true, and it's very hard to upgrade your trade because obviously your XP is based on how much profit you make, and when it's super hard to make profit, you're not making too much XP. And then lastly, trade gameplay is generally less rewarding for making money compared to more mainstream methods like battles, sieges, all that stuff. So I agree with all this, and I think trading should become kind of like a, something that should be a very strong option, to actually pursue in the game. So what are the changes? Let's do it. So in summary, first change, demand for trade goods increased. Simply put, demand is based on the prosperity of the town multiplied by demand value for a certain good. In some cases, they are up 3 to 4 times, so towns simply consume more trade goods. There you go. They're gone quicker, so you need more of them. There it is. Therefore, there's more demand. Next, luxury demands are reintroduced. Okay, we have a luxury demand system in the game, but values were adjusted through the early access to make it moot. So moot as in doesn't really affect anything. We brought the values back. Okay. Difference with luxury and base demand values is luxury demand only kicks in after town reaches a certain prosperity level. Interesting. So, if the town becomes very, very powerful in terms of prosperity, very, very high prosperity, then all of a sudden a new demand will kick in and pretty much drain even quicker all the goods, because obviously higher prosperity, more people live in that town, it's more popular, so therefore more people would probably visit that town, therefore the demand would kind of skyrocket for certain items. Makes sense. Next, production of villages are adjusted. Okay, so it doesn't say if it's improved or decreased, but adjusted. So some are improved, some are decreased. Next, workshop production volume and efficiency are adjusted. Again, the word adjusted could be going up or could be going down, but the devs have said that workshops will become more profitable as well as caravans. Next, value for various trade goods are adjusted. I have seen the prices being adjusted. The prices technically went up for a lot of like the food items and stuff like that. So yeah, so a lot of the prices did go a little bit up. Expenses for workshops are drastically increased. Interesting. So we'll see how that works. Okay. Next, some trade goods are not produced by artisans anymore and will only be produced in the respective workshops. Also interesting, this will actually drive up the price for those goods as well, because they won't be as available because the artisans aren't going to make them anymore. Next, the amount of production simulated at the game start is reduced to 5 days from 20. Okay. I don't know exactly what that means, but okay. And then lastly, workshop production only cycles in case of possible profit instead of always. Interesting. So the workshop, if it won't make profit, won't actually produce. Yeah, very interesting. Again, we'll see how all this actually works. Next, so what do these changes mean when they are all put together? Oh, okay, here we go. We got a full explanation. Let's do it. Alright, so first, with supply and demand more in line with each other, overstocking in the markets is much more rare. Cool, so they will run out of items and you will have to actually search for it. Okay, this means the price indice, what is that? Indices are as low, yeah, I don't know what that word is, are as low as possible 5 years into the game. This is the primary change. We built the rest of the changes on top of this, okay? With traveling around the world, buying and selling is still viable even into very late game. Good. Trader gameplay is more viable. I might be a trader, to be honest with you, in this new playthrough that I'm doing. Next, trade skill experience is gained from making profits when trading, so you'll be able to gain trade skill even later into the game. When traveling around the map and visiting towns, you will now see different markets with different inventories and prices, actually making it more fun to trade. Okay. With the amount of trade goods in the market being much more limited, we also made it so that various events like raids and sieges have a much bigger impact on the prices and availability in market. You can visit a town right after a long siege and see it in want or anything you might provide, or rating all the villages in the same produce, you can affect the prices to a much more recognizable degree. There you go. So rating, it's getting a little bit better. You know what I mean? It's getting a little bit better. Okay, I like to see that. This change also emphasizes the trading style of traveling the land, visiting many towns on the way, and making various trades along the way, trying to recognize and catch opportunity instead of doing big trade runs from one destination to another. There you go. So you're going to have to, kind of hustle a little bit. Go from town to town, see what's up, see what's there, and make your money. I like it. Next, luxury demands. With the reintroduction of luxury demands, you can also rely on your knowledge of prosperity of towns to figure out where you should sell these goods. You can sell grain or hardwood pretty much anywhere. But if you landed some cheap jewelry or silk, you should go to a big and rich town to find some market for it. Interesting. Okay. Another advantage is overall prosperity values increase in the game as time passes, so certain trade goods and workshops that have limited trade and profit potential can start to be more valuable later in the game. Investments. Oh, baby. So, technically, you can start your game, right? You make some money. Go buy all the jewelry. Go buy all the silk that you can. Once you have like a castle like that, put it into your castle inventory. Fill that up. And then guess what? 20 years down the line, let's say your main character dies. Your heir inherits the kingdom. Boom. Pretty much your silk, kind of like stocks. It's gone up. And now you can sell it. Investments, baby. I like that. All right. Caravans and workshops. Next, caravans. We have made some changes to caravan trade behavior. Caravans were in general acting too safe when deciding what to buy. With price indices more varied instead of rock bottom, we had the chance to get them to take more risk. Oh, yes, baby. Caravans now make better use of animal of burden, increasing their carry capacity, thus their profits. Okay. Lastly, simply, trading became more profitable means caravans are more profitable. Let's go, baby. Next, workshops. Again, more profits mean making more money for workshops. Sensational. With heterogeneity of trade goods, it is more important to make correct decisions on where and what kind of workshop to buy. Okay? So you have to actually, it's going to coincide. So it's not just going to be the same workshop all over. It just, is always going to be profitable. You have to actually think about it. Okay? I'm going to make a little video on how to actually choose workshops. Kind of make a more updated video on it since it's becoming more prevalent. Next, with trade goods being abundant, the amount of raw materials consumed by workshops were not making a dent in the supply, did not affect the prices. Now, even if you didn't increase their consumption, a town with a smithy will have higher prices for iron ore. Interesting. Okay, so if the workshop is using that specific ingredient and you try to buy it, the price will actually be pretty high because it's already being used. And if you want to buy it, technically, you are taking it away from the workshop, which will accrue a fee. Pretty cool. Next, workshops always had daily expenses, and we are relying on this expense mechanic for AI-controlled workshops to go out of business and opening different kinds of workshops in their stead, both balancing out the economy and also making it more lively. Oh, that's pretty cool. So workshops are going to change as time goes on. I'm pretty sure they changed before, but they're going to change a lot more now. So businesses are going to go out of business and new businesses are going to pop up. Pretty cool. With the profit being limited, the expenses were lowered quite a bit as well, which meant that it would take a workshop to not make a single dinar of profit for around 14 years straight to go out of business. Now that workshop expenses have better profits, meaning we have more room to bite into and increase the daily expenses. This allowed us to get AI-controlled workshops to cycle as we intended. Nice. Next, this will also make players have to think a bit more since workshops can actually run a deficit now. Pretty sure you will figure out the ideal workshop in no time, but it's still improvement. Yeah, so now, hey, you make the wrong decision. Okay, it's not safe anymore. You have to actually make the right decision. So it could be very profitable, but it could also not be profitable at all. Sensational. With the demand increasing and since it's multiplied with prosperity, we thought it might be better to increase the price of workshops according to town prosperity even more. In fact, it is a bigger part of the price now and it pays off. Uh-oh, we're getting expensive. real estate going up. It's like the real world, man. Ugh, you hate to see it. Uh, Next, another advantage is that some workshops, specifically ones producing luxury goods, are more profitable at late game. True. Oh, wow. You got some stuff to think about now when you choose your workshops. I like that. Alrighty, what do we want to do next? Alright, for the future. Well, of course, we're going to tweak pretty much everything through your feedback. Beyond that, there are some points we want to address. One of them is supply and demand is not increasing in comparable degree as time passes in the game. Village productions increase to a degree according to their hearth value, but with workshop production being static, it is manufactured goods that are shooting up in price. We have previous plans for the workshop, and in time we were looking for ways to improve overall experience and give players some degree of managing them. Another point that we still want to handle is dynamism. What is that? Dynamism? I don't know what that is. Well, from the mouth to mouth in a single game in between new game starts, there have always been improvements in both of these changes, and we want to push it further. So I have an idea. So they state that the villages, they go up as the hearth value goes up, and then but workshops stay static, because they stay static. What if? Because I know there's always this conversation about workshop levels, and the devs have been kind of iffy about it. But wouldn't that kind of alleviate the problem? Well, it wouldn't alleviate the problem, but it would give like the player and the AI the choice to upgrade the workshop to either increase its increase its supply. So like villages, they'll do it by themselves, but since you can own workshops, you can kind of do it. You can kind of invest more money into the workshop to upgrade it to the next level, so it becomes a bigger workshop. It does more. I don't know, that's just food for thought. Lastly, they say both me and other developers and team will be in the thread to any questions, suggestions in general. I hope you enjoy the changes. Have fun. Detailed changelog is below. What is this? Oh, this is all the prices and stuff. Alright, if y'all want to see all this extra stuff, link will be down below. But I think that will do it for me. Very good things to see. And yeah, I'm very excited. Like I said, I'm very excited to start the 1.8 playthrough. I think all this stuff helps a lot. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next one, and stay safe.